Which is better for you, a semi-automatic pistol or a revolver for concealed carry? Guess what? I'll give you a hint. It's for you. In this video, I'll share the pros and cons of each, and I'll tell you what my personal favorite is. But before we get going, let's remind you that we have a gun giveaway going on right now. You can enter for free, and it ends really soon. So just click the link in the description down below to reveal which brand new gun you could win. All right, so let's talk about the differences between a revolver, which has a revolving cylinder. There it is, you can see it spinning, and I'm showing you that this revolver is empty, so when we talk about it, no one gets upset with me. Or a semi-automatic pistol, or what is sometimes referred to as an auto-loading pistol. Also, no rounds in the magazine. The chamber is empty and clear, visually and physically inspected, and nothing in the magazine well. So, let's talk about the pros and cons of the revolver to begin with, because the revolver is actually the older version of the self-defense pistol. Revolvers happened first. Autoloaders, semi-auto pistols came by later. Pros and cons of a revolver is they are quite simple to use, but they're quite complex inside. So that is a pro and a con. A revolver is a very simple tool to use, but it's a very complicated tool to operate internally. Another con of the revolver is that you have limited ammunition and it is much more difficult to reload. The revolver holds typically 5 or 6. In some cases, there are 7-shot revolvers out there. 5 or 6 rounds in a revolving cylinder. And when you're done with those 6, we'll close it. You push the button on the side, you operate the release, you open the cylinder, turn the revolver upside down, hit the plunger, and knock out the empty cases. Then, if you don't have a speed loader, you have to reload one at a time or drop the speed loader in and reload to get 6 more to get going. That, in and of itself, is one of the reasons that people don't choose a revolver for concealed carry. Understand, though, that statistically speaking, self-defense incidents typically only exchange 3 shots. But if you're in the atypical incident and suddenly you want more bullets, you don't get them from your revolver. And I have never spoken to anyone who has survived a gunfight who said, wow, I wish I had fewer bullets. So some of the other pros of the revolver, again, simple in operation and quite stout. Okay, with the revolver, we talk about a double and single action revolver. So I'll explain that really quickly. We have the double action revolver. That's most modern revolvers are what we call double action, but they can also be fired in the single action. That refers to what the trigger does. In the double action mode, and once again, double checking to make sure that this baby is completely empty, no ammo anywhere in the room with us. Now I'll show you how this operates. And I'll just pull the trigger with my thumb so you can see what's happening here. Okay, so in the double action mode, the trigger performs 2 functions. The double function of rotating the cylinder and cocking the hammer and releasing the hammer. So as you pull the trigger back, the hammer is cocked all the way to the rear and released. 2 functions, double action. If you cock the hammer, you pull it all the way to the back, and now it's in the single action mode, and the trigger does the single action of simply releasing the hammer. That's the difference. So that is a benefit. If you wish to cock the hammer before you shoot, yes, then you have a much lighter trigger pull and a longer, more stout trigger pull to operate in the double action mode. I'm going to say that if you're fighting with a revolver, you better learn to shoot that thing in the double action mode, because that's what you're going to do under stress. You're going to see the bad guy, you're going to point the gun at the bad guy, and you're going to pull that trigger over and over until the bad guy stops. You're not going to be repositioning your hand on the hammer, cocking the hammer, so now you have a 4-pound trigger pull and shooting at the bad guy. That's just what we're talking about in high stress situations. So again, people will say that revolvers on the pro side are much more reliable. A revolver won't jam. You used to have the old saying 6 for sure, because older versions of auto-loading pistols would sometimes, or should I say would often jam. Truth of the matter is that revolvers do break down, and when they break down, you are out of the fight. you're done. If a revolver stops working, put it away, drop it, get a different tool. You're not fighting with that revolver anymore. It means one of the major springs inside is no longer working, or something bent and the cylinder won't rotate. This gun is out of the fight. With the auto-loading pistol, you can get back in the fight by simply inserting a new magazine and racking the slide to the rear. That's all it takes to get a jam cleared out of an auto-loading pistol. So let's talk about the auto-loading pistol. I moved into one of the later mechanisms, which is clearing a jam or a malfunction, but the auto-loading pistol is auto-loading because it feeds ammunition from a box magazine. Notice this box magazine is empty. The detachable box magazine fits into the hand grip of the pistol, and as the slide reciprocates, moving back and forth, it pulls a new round off the top of the magazine, slides that new round into the chamber so that you may fire the gun. You pull the trigger, and when it fires, the slide reciprocates again, kicking the empty shell casing out and feeding a new shell casing in. For every pull of the trigger, you get one bullet, one round is fired, and then you have to release the trigger and re-engage the trigger to make it function again. One of the benefits of an auto-loading pistol over a revolver, again, is ammo capacity, magazine capacity. This is a 15-round magazine, and if you look closely, these guns are basically the same size. 6 rounds, 15 rounds. Most of the modern autoloaders now, they're made of polymer, they're much lighter, they're easier to carry, and they function very, very well. People will say, ooh, you should start with a revolver because it's simpler to use. Not true. That takes away the idea that people are smart enough to learn how to use an auto-loading pistol. Every single person is capable of learning to use an auto-loading pistol, getting the proper training and doing the proper practice. It becomes intuitive. You know exactly how to run that pistol. It's not any more complicated than is the revolver to make that pistol go bang. Some auto-loading pistols will have an external safety, either on the frame or on the slide, and then you can engage that safety. Some will just have the trigger safety or the internal safety, and you can get auto-loading pistols in single action. The typical 1911 style pistol is a single action auto-loading pistol, or double action only, where you have a hammer that's actually moving, and that fires in the double action mode where you have the long, steady trigger pull to make that work. Or double single action, where the first shot is a double action shot, and then the hammer is cocked and stays back, and the second shot subsequently, second, third, fourth, and fifth, are single action shots. Or the polymer pistol, where the trigger pull is always the same for every shot that you're going to fire. Understand, all you need to do is get some training and practice to make that function. Now, I did promise to tell you which is my personal favorite. I happen to carry an auto-loading pistol because I like more bullets, and it's much more difficult for me to reload a revolver than it is for me to reload an auto-loading pistol. Auto-loading pistols provide more convenience, and if they do happen to malfunction, I can clear that malfunction quickly, either by tapping the magazine and racking the slide and getting back in the action, or stripping that magazine out, racking the slide a couple of times, putting a new magazine in, and getting back into the action. That's the reason I carry an auto-loading pistol. Thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. And a quick reminder, one more time, we have a gun giveaway going on. It ends really soon. All you have to do is click the link below and reveal which brand new gun you can win. I'm Kevin Michalowski, Director of Content for the U.S. Concealed Carry Association. If you enjoy videos like this, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification bell. We'll notify you every time something new comes out. Stay safe. We'll see you in the next video.